How to build faith and trust. Not only is it crucial to get you through the tough times, but it's also what will make your everyday life more peaceful and more joyful, because you know that you are going to be taken care of no matter what. Hello and welcome back to today's video. I already shared in another video about how important faith and trust it is, especially if you are on a path where you don't know what the ultimate destination is and if you ever will get there. I'm gonna put the video up above and down below so you can have a look at it. Before we jump into the video, I want to mention that I set up a resource link in the description box down below. Basically, it's a link where all the resources that I found helpful or have shared throughout the videos are gonna be in one place. Also, I want to take this opportunity of reminding you how helpful it is to subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below when you like the content and find it of value. And this goes for my channel, but every other channel that is out there as well. So if you like something that you see, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. As I mentioned in the other video, there's basically 2 steps when it comes to building faith and trust or any other emotion. The first step is cultivating the emotion inside of you. The second step is developing the skill of tapping into the emotion at will. Let's start with step number 1, cultivating the emotion inside of you. This means nothing else than strengthening a certain emotion inside of you, in this case faith or trust, so you can feel it very, very strongly. The easiest way to do that is visualization, meditation, or just simply feeling the emotion. You just choose the technique that comes easiest to you. So you're not forced to do visualization exercises if you have like a really hard time with creating images. I know a lot of people who say, I don't visualize, I don't see pictures, I don't see images. And they often end up feeling really frustrated because they're doing a visualization exercises and they are so caught up in the fact that they don't see any pictures that basically they're missing out on the actual exercise. Those people usually tell me that, I don't see anything, but I just feel it inside of me. So if you don't see a picture, but just feel it inside of your body, that's totally okay as well. So don't worry about the fact that you don't see a picture. If, on the other side, you are very strong with images and it's very easy for you to create pictures in your mind, visualization exercises are like absolutely amazing and you should go for that one. You can either use meditation, just use a quick YouTube search. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of options available. Another way is just visualizing yourself in certain scenes where you feel yourself having a lot of faith and trust. So if you are a strong daydreamer, this should come very easily to you. Just imagining yourself in scenes and you can feel the emotion inside of you and the certainty of having that faith and trust. If you use daydreaming, don't worry about it if it's like realistic or not. It really doesn't matter because the brain doesn't make a difference if it's real or not. It really doesn't matter which technique you use. The important part is that you feel the emotion. So if you feel the emotion with pictures or just with thinking about the emotion, it really doesn't matter. But make sure when you're doing this that you do feel the actual emotion. Then comes the second step, the skill of tapping into the emotion at will. Developing this skill is actually quite simple. You're simply going to think about the emotion and feel the emotion throughout the day. The difference to step 1 is that you're just going to think about that emotion and you're immediately going to be in that state of mind. So it's really about changing your emotional state at will. One way I like to do it when starting off developing a new emotion that I want to have immediate access to is accessing that emotion the moment I wake up and the moment I fall asleep. The next step would be like picking random points of your day and just remembering that this is the feeling that you're trying to cultivate and tapping into that emotion in that moment. Whether you are in line to pay something or you're in the train trying to get home, just whenever the thought comes to mind of, oh right, I'm cultivating this emotion, try to tap into that emotion at will. The third step eventually would be to tap into that emotion when you are feeling your absolutely worst. In this case, where you're cultivating the feeling of faith and trust and you might have experienced an extreme setback, in that moment where you feel despair and hopelessness and like there's no way out of it, you would at will consciously decide to get out of that emotion and into faith and trust instead. This is obviously the most challenging one. It could actually be so challenging that you are not even able to access it. Being able to tap into a positive emotion when being in a negative emotion needs a lot of practice. If you have never done that before, it is totally normal if it's not going to work in the beginning. So I want you to keep the following things in mind instead of beating yourself up. It could be that you are in a negative state and you don't even think about changing your state. You're just in the slump and there's nothing that you can do about it. And you have to wait it out until you naturally get out of the negative emotion. In that case, you will usually reflect afterwards when you're feeling better, oh, I didn't change my state, or I wasn't able to get out of it. If you were able to reflect that part of I was in a negative state and wasn't able to get out of it and didn't even think about getting out of it, that is great, because you had the awareness of what happened. And as soon as you have awareness for something, you can change it. So don't beat yourself up for the fact that you weren't able to change it that time. Just be grateful for the fact that you noticed that you had that pattern. This scenario might repeat itself quite a few times. The next step could be that you are in a negative emotion and you notice that you are in a negative emotion. And the thought of tapping into a positive emotion does come to mind, but you totally disregard it. What I mean by disregarding, it's you are aware that you can change your state, but you choose not to. There can actually be two reasons on why you choose not to change your state. One can be that you feel like you're betraying yourself. It can feel like, well, but everything is going bad and it just feels fake to pretend that everything is okay when it just isn't. The other reason can be that the negative emotion is so intense that your positive emotion or your skill of tapping into the positive emotion is still too weak compared to the negative emotion. Again, if you find yourself in either of those scenarios, don't beat yourself up because you've progressed, you've come so much farther than you already have. The next level will be that you notice yourself being in a negative emotion and you're able to snap yourself out of it and get into the resourceful emotion. When you're in a total slump and you're like, oh, you know what, actually I don't want to feel that way because it doesn't help me anyway. So just decide to get into a resourceful state that will help me to figure out whatever problem or challenge that I'm facing. There is a higher level, and that is that you are able to stop yourself before going into the negative emotion. It could be that something happens and you observe yourself starting to get into negative emotion. While you're observing yourself, you're able to snap yourself out of it before you even fully went into the negative emotion. And this would be like the ideal case scenario. These different stages, they're not chronological. It could be that one day you're able to snap yourself out of a negative emotion immediately, and there are going to be other days where you're noticing yourself being in the slump and you're just not getting out of it. Obviously, the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. Eventually, it's going to be rarer that you find yourself stuck in a negative emotion without being able to get out of it. Bonus tip, the easiest way to get yourself out of a negative emotion is by moving your body. Especially if you find yourself stuck in a negative emotion and you're aware of the fact but feel like you're not getting out of it, exercising your body can be the key of getting yourself out of that negative emotion. It doesn't matter if it's dancing, running, going to the gym, hopping around in your own apartment. Just moving your body will help you get out of any negative emotion that you find yourself stuck in. That's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.